Maybe just a bit of networking, infrastructure and investment is necessary, and to tell us how all this is possible, to share a vision, his vision about the development of in Vidarbha as the IT hub, I call upon our Honorable Minister, Shri Nitinji Gadkari, to share his views with us.
All respectable dignitaries on the dais and dear friends. Nagpur is one of the important city now where we have lot of things where we can compare the particularly of world standard. Nagpur is the first city in the country where we have 24/7 water supply. Nagpur metro is supposed to be the one of the best metro in the country. And being a 0 mile, it is the central place between Chennai to Delhi and Mumbai to Calcutta. And because of Samruddhi Mahamarga, it is easy that Nagpur is well connected to Mumbai. Now we are planning to make Nagpur to Hyderabad express highway. So I feel that all road network near to Nagpur is of world standard. Once upon a time, I declare that our road network will be equivalent to USA. But now the people are telling me some of the road network even it is better than USA. So I feel that the Nagpur has got a lot of strength. Nagpur called as a tiger capital, where 350 tigers from 3.5 hour distance from Nagpur, you can see. Nagpur is the orange city, and now Nagpur is medical hub, as well as now we want to make Nagpur as IT hub. All the big companies are present now. I feel that as far as Nagpur has got 49 engineering colleges in the region, and because of that the IT engineering trained manpower is available, and now the IIM, all type of good institutions are here. So I feel that it is an appropriate city. Now I am just telling you the example. Many times Aziz Premji specially meet me, and Kiran Mujumdarji, particularly from Bangalore, IT people coming to me. And they are telling me that there is a big problem for traffic jam in Bangalore. So I am doing lot of things. I am making ring road of 20,000 crore for Bangalore. We have already completed Bangalore-Mysore highway. We are already in the position to complete Chennai-Bangalore highway within 2 hours. You can go to Chennai from Bangalore. But I suggest them, I have got the solution. So Aziz Premji was asking me, what is the solution? Well, you come to Nagpur and resolve your all problems. KP Gurnani is here. He has taken decision now. Tech Mahindra is here. Now all the big giants, SCL, Infosys, TCS, and it is to be a great strain that living standard of Nagpur is very high. But at the same time, as compared with Pune, Bangalore and Mumbai, Hyderabad, Nagpur is quite cheaper. So today we are now planning to develop smart cities in the different part of the Nagpur. So there is a residential accommodation with a reasonable investment, it can be possible in Nagpur. And that is the reason, for all point of view, Nagpur is the attraction, and Nagpur is very, very friendly for investment and for the business. I am really happy that our IT concerned people have taken a lot of initiative to having how we can get more investment in Vidarbha. And Advantage Vidarbha was the theme. And today I am really happy that a lot of giants, big giants who are here, and with their guidance and with their inspiration and motivation, we will plan the policies, and also we want to support the people for that. Mihan is one of the success story, and I feel that it will be appropriate for all of you to make investment in Nagpur, because by all, either it is manpower, either it is transport, by every way, it is to be a good city. One of the important things which I want to tell you, Regarding development, three things are very important: ethics, economy, ecology, and environment. From 2004, as a transport minister, I am constantly working on we need development, but how to protect ecology and environment. So that is the reason that the pollution level in Nagpur is really good. When I am going to Delhi, every time it is a big problem that going to Delhi, we have to face the air pollution quality in Delhi. Even Mumbai is polluted. Now the pollution is increased in the all metro city in the country. But as Nagpur is concerned, still it is better, and we want to remove the air pollution in the city. So we have decided to start electric trolley bus in Mihan now, and it will reduce the pollution and it will give the facility to the youth who want to work in Mihan. Easily from Khapri station, they can reach up to their office area, and that is to be a great thing where transport is easily available, pollution is less, and transport is good. So I am really happy that you are all people who are taking interest, having good investment in Nagpur. It will be really a great asset for all of you. Once again, I am welcoming all of you, particularly the big giants in the industry coming here, and all the investors and the people who are supporting this event. I am giving my special thanks to you. Thank you very much. Namaskar.
Any venture needs development of a roadmap. Sir ensures that not only a road is developed, but all roads lead to Nagpur. To continue with the session, we have a wonderful speaker here. So we'll be having a keynote address, and we are blessed to have amongst us today Shri C.P. Gurnani, sir. Shri C.P. Gurnani is popularly known as C.P. in his peer groups, and he is a visionary leader who epitomizes the transformative power of entrepreneurship. He graduated in chemical engineering from the prestigious National Institute of Technology, Roorkee, and he is a distinguished and active alumnus of the institute. He has been conferred with honorary doctorate by 4 different universities. Mr. Gurnani has a wealth of experience cultivated at industry giants like Tech Mahindra, Hewlett Packard Limited, Pero Systems, and HCL Corporation. He was the force behind one of the biggest turnarounds of Indian corporate history, the acquisition and merger of Satyam. He has contributed to the industrial transformation in India and has been a part of the Indian Prime Minister's CEO delegation to multiple countries. Shri Gurnani is a recipient of several prestigious awards, notably the People-Focused CEO of the Year Award 2023, the CEO of the Year Award at the Raymond CEO Forum India Awards 2022, and the Most Inspiring Business Leader of Asia at the Economic Times Asian Business Leaders Conclave 2022. He has many more awards, recognitions to his credit, but to just see the man himself is more than reading about him. So we have here Mr. C.P. Gurnani, and we would like to hear from him.
Yeah, for a moment, Harish Mehta and I were very flattered that the overflowing hall was because of us. But now that we know the reality, we also know that Shashi Kant Chaudhary has also disappeared on us with all the 12 awardees or the 12 MOU signees. So I don't know if anybody can remind Shashi Kant Chaudhary that Innovation Hub means IT, academia, startups, And so guys, I mean, after thousands of accolades that Mr. Tamle and Dr. Sharma have bestowed on Nagpur, I actually have a little contrarian view. A little contrarian view is 5.3 million people work in IT and ITS sector. I mean, since Hindi is very prevalent here, 5.3 million means 53 lakh log. Now, 49 engineering colleges in Nagpur, about 70 engineering colleges in Vidarbha, and Persistent, which was one of the early adopters, and I'm sure, Amit, you would agree that you were one of the early adopters. Thanks to Anand, right? It's Deshpande who was based here, right? He grew up in this town. Yeah, here, okay. So my point is very simple, that how come, again repeating whatever you have said and not said. You have said Nagpur is center of the world, center of India. You have all agreed that it has got better infrastructure and definitely better air quality than Harish Mehta's Mumbai. Yeah. And we have all agreed that, Professor Maitri runs one of the finest management colleges in the world. There you agree, world, right? Yeah, so give a big hand to Professor Maitri. And again, what has not been mentioned was that per unit doctor density. I think you have one of the world's best medical facilities in India. And you saw it how you served the neighboring cities, neighboring states during COVID. So in a lot of ways, good school, good education, good infrastructure, good weather relatively, not those 2 months, because Professor Maitri has made sure that I'm never invited in those 2 months. So if all of this is true, why is it that our IT and ITS sector has still not leapfrogged? And my belief is, starting from the word innovation, we have never really collaborated. We have never collaborated between academia. I don't remember, I have been coming here for 8 years. I am the founder chairman of IIM Nagpur. Right from the day when we were guests of VNIT to what you see now, the good infrastructure of IIM Nagpur, I've been coming here every quarter. I have never seen 49 institutes getting together. I have never seen those research institutes that we all talked about getting together. We have never actually addressed this as a challenge, that if there are 70 engineering colleges, that typically if the batch size is 500 in a year, then also we are talking of 35,000 people coming out every year. How come that our absorption is less than 5,000? If our absorption is less than 5,000, that means we are losing the critical mass to other cities. And if we address it as a common challenge, I think there is a solution. Second data point for all of us to ponder. Last 5 years, NASSCOM every February gives their annual report. In that annual report, last 5 years, they've always said GCC is the fastest growing segment in terms of employment for the IT and ITS industry. How many GCCs do we have here? 1. Thank you very much. I mean, so thank you. 0 mile does not mean, only 1. So my point is very simple. That means the first task force that we need is true meaning of innovation is getting together and solving at least a problem or anticipating a problem or creating something new. Number two is, if we are all data scientists, if we all can synthesize what's happening around us, then we should have been getting together to say, how do I get GCC into Nagpur? What is the difference? Now, I'm sure we can debate it, but remember, if a GCC wants to open a center in Hyderabad, or in Bangalore, or in Gurgaon, or in Mumbai, Navi Mumbai, to be precise, they would probably get ready to move in infrastructure as of yesterday. How much of Mehan does it have an additional 50,000 spaces for us to bring in 50,000 people to come in if the GCCs have to come? GCCs do not build campuses, they only hire. Have we had this dialogue with the builders here? Have we had a chance to discuss it with different corporations of Maharashtra? So that's number one. Number two, if you look at all the balance sheets, what do we see? Infosys has a campus in Mysore. What is that? It's a mini university. Tech Mahindra has a campus in Mahindra University and also its own learning center in Hyderabad. It only means is skill development. There are still gaps in what the industry needs and what we are able to provide. Now, if Nagpur has got 70 engineering colleges, how can I become the skill university or a talent supplier of the world? How can I anticipate? How many of us have done courses on ChatGPT? How many of us understand that the requirement today is not only just AI but prompt engineering? How many of us read the same books and come back and you still say Java, C++, there is a gap? How many of us have anticipated that SAP will close down their existing systems by 2027 and hence there will be a skill shortage? How many of us have said India sooner or later would need a sovereign cloud? They cannot depend on all the other countries' cloud supplier, because if data is going to become proprietary to us, if data is what we are going to fight the wars on, if data security is the what you think is got to have a better budget than the Indian army, then obviously data equal to data centers is equal to cloud, and that effectively means is we can anticipate where India needs to be. And if we can anticipate, why can't our curriculum show this? Even when I go to an IIM board meeting, trust me, I want to congratulate Professor Mhetri. Reason is that 40% of the time when he spends on the curriculum, he talks about a bridge between technology and the modern management. He does courses, executive development programs on blockchain or multimedia or on data sciences or on AI. Now my point is, he's only solving a small part of the problem. He's just doing it like an executive development program. Why can't we make a narrative around skill development? And I'm sure when you make that narrative, you would also realize that NASSCOM has done a lot of good job in defining that narrative. We can only improve on it. So all again and again, I'm going to remind each other is that we can sit here, look up and say, how high is Mount Everest? Or we can say, we will take the first step together. And let's not get satisfied. I think we have not begun the journey in IT and ITS. I'm sorry for being provocative, but I genuinely want Vidarbha to succeed. I want all of you to succeed, and I want to be that person who leads that journey to climb that Mount Everest, because we should be the fastest growing, we should be the bigger ones, and we should be the better ones. Actually, that's a good note for me to hand over to Harish, unless everybody wants to read first Harish's book and then talk to him. But all I can say is, it's good fun coming here, and you guys are the real tigers, and let's make it happen. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Indeed, it is necessary to dream, but it is also necessary to open your eyes to reality. You have shown us how we need to be aware of what the reality is all about. Thank you so much. And now we have amongst us Mr. Harish Mehta as a guest speaker. Again, a luminary in the field. We all must have heard of the book, The Maverick Effect. He is the author whose book, The Maverick Effect, has received commendations from the powerhouses of India's IT sector. He graduated from Nagpur, so a Nagpurian connection is there, and he did his master's from Brooklyn Polytechnic University, New York. He is presently the first chairman of NASSCOM and the founder of the Onward Group. He has a career spanning over 4 decades, and his involvement with NASSCOM has played a significant role in shaping India's IT sector. Through his association with TIE, Mr. Harish is actively involved in fostering entrepreneurship and mentoring aspiring entrepreneurs. He has also served as an expert advisor to the Small Industries Development Bank of India, showcasing his support for the development of small and medium-sized enterprises. Happy and glad to have you amongst us. The stage is all yours, sir.
You know, it's so difficult after CP's impromptu and inspiring speech. Thank you, CP. I'll tell a story about CP, frankly. One more, just about his personality. She talked about my book, which is this Maverick Effect. I had a launch in London. It was at the James Court Hotel. And I reached the hotel an hour before. It's a Taj Hotel. I reached the hotel an hour before and waiting in the lounge. And I saw CP walking in and checking into the hotel. So I said, CP, aap yahan? So, yes, I am here for my business meeting. I said, my book is being launched in next 1 hour. Would you join? Quickly, he changed his program and he joined the launch of the book. Now, after I had a fireside chat with one Dr. Mohan Kaul. That was about 30-35 minutes. Then there was a Q&A. So one of the Britishers got up and he asked me, Mr. Mehta, you are saying such a big thing about IT industry. But why, how come the IT industry has not developed a product like Google, Microsoft, and whatnot? Before I answer, CP, he was sitting in the front row. He raised his hand and said, Harish bhai, I will answer that. That is his proactiveness to take up the leadership right away. Then he comes on the mic and he tells the gentleman, have you ever asked an airline industry why they are not developing aircrafts? My God, there was a silence in the audience. They said, why are you, our industry has done such a brilliant work. We employ, as he talked about, 5 million people. And we have literally changed the face of India. Give us credit for that. And instead of trying to find a fault at something which we are not responsible. So that's CP. Thank you very much. I think we love him at NASSCOM. Again, from similar angle, that as you know, NASSCOM is a coalition in some sense of fierce competitors. And you can imagine Mr. Kohli, Murthy, Azim, CP, all are together. And how do you bring unity in that group? And again, CP has been one of the cheerleaders in bringing that unity among the fierce competitors. And that is the strength of NASSCOM. And that is the title of my book also, The Maverick Effect. So now, CP talked about a challenge for Nagpur in terms of collaboration. So I would like to tell you a story which is in the book also. And he talked about JCC. So the story is linked with that, okay, how this collaborative model is applicable, or the secret sauce I'm going to reveal now, is applicable to Nagpur also. Going back in early 90s, multinationals wanted to come to India and they requested NASSCOM, okay, would you allow us to enter India with 100% ownership to set up back office operation? Now, that was a time where only 40% equity was allowed to MNCs. And they were asking 100%. So we had an executive council meet and we were discussing. And by that time, we had built NASSCOM as I would call it, independent, neutral, transparent, trustworthy platform where creative juices flow. Small, medium, product, service, all companies are equal on a table in terms of discussion. We built that sort of trustworthy environment where people can open up and talk. So when the proposal came, somebody said, are you mad? They'll come, they'll pay double the salary, take away our good people. So why should we allow them to come? Somebody said they may take away our work that we are doing under the garb of back office and we'll be left holding the bag. So why should we allow? Government has given us a natural protection. Why should we not take advantage of that? But in that group, somebody said, yeah, but see, we need to be so much afraid of competition. Competition is the best guru for us to learn. And anyway, all of us have homegrown techniques of developing software and other practices. We would learn a lot from them. So it's good for us to have them come nearer to us. We compete with them in India, and that will, at a lower cost, will develop our skill sets and then go abroad. Somebody said it'll also improve the brand name for India because at that time, let's say the total pie was $300 billion. What was accessible to us was hardly $1 billion. So if we allow 100% ownership, billion may become 5 billion or 10 billion. So it will help our business grow also. So like there were big discussion taking place back and forth. Then somebody said, whoever develops human capital of India is us. Now, this thought came because at that time there was a big debate in USA. Okay, who is us? Is IBM, Motorola, Whirlpool us? Or is it Sony, Honda, Panasonic us? So similar debate at NASSCOM. Okay, who is us? And we decided that whoever develops human capital of India is us. We went to Dr. Manmohan Singh at that time and we said we should allow 100% ownership for MNCs. So one of the finance persons said, "Aap East India company ke jaise desh ko bechne aa gaye tum." Somebody said, "Tum kiske dalal ho?" So we were ridiculed from that perspective of recommending 100% ownership for MNCs. And that time we had asked everybody, Azim, Murthy, Kohli, everybody who was in the industry, do you agree with this proposal we are giving? Everyone had agreed on that. So a single voice to the government. And the government agreed. And today, the same GCCs, we have 1,500 GCCs in India. They employ 1.2 million engineers. They earn $35 billion of foreign exchange. And as CP talked, the future is extremely bright for GCCs in India. And we see that number growing to 300 R&D centers in the country. So this collaborative work that was done by fierce competitors, by building a trustworthy platform where the creative juices flow, keeping higher goal, India first, with consensus, with single voice, we took that call and see the benefit today. I recommend very strongly similar model Nagpur should adopt, where academia, industry, others all come together, keep higher goods, define your vision. Like I would like to define why not Nagpur become the next Silicon Valley. It may be 20 years from now, like we had imagined for IT industry. We had Devang when I think we were at hardly $2 billion. He started saying India will emerge as a software superpower. So once you have a vision, you fold the future back to work out your plan. So now, of course, the next wave is the startup wave. And I would like to see, as the time progresses, all of you are very proud of 5 large companies coming to Nagpur. I would say, why not a company from Nagpur becoming global? That should be your goal. And how do you work towards that? So what are the various mechanisms to be developed? Yes, we are very proud of your physical infrastructure that we saw. I mean, 20 years back, there was nothing here. I congratulate all of you who made that happen where it is today. But now the challenge is to build the soft infrastructure. We talked about innovation, product development, angels, VCs, the whole entirely new model has to be developed. And that's where you will have global leaders emerging from Nagpur. So I would suggest that use this collaborative model to take the next step for Nagpur. And thank you for giving me a few minutes to talk about it.
Thank you so much, sir. I'm sure the audience is quite enlightened by both the talks and would like to ask some questions as well. So the house is open for questions. We'll entertain 2 or 3 questions if anyone would like to ask. Yes, please.
I have one question. Here it seems we are talking about Advantage Vidarbha, but it seems Vidarbha ends at Nagpur. If we look at IT sector. So is there any plan which are Nagpur-based companies to move from tier 2 city of Nagpur to tier 3 cities of Vidarbha?
I mean, I don't know your name, but
I am from Tech Mahindra only, Mandar Limay.
Mandar
Limay.
Lime. All right. So Mandar, my personal belief is, as in a body they say, Ayurveda says if your gut is good, everything is good. Somebody else would say if your spine is good, then you can support the rest of the body. I think we have to first strengthen Nagpur. That's the first part. Second is, I can only share with you one of the states like Odisha. There, the chief minister had called me once and he asked me the same question. He said he's from, he contests elections from, I think, a city called Ganjam. You probably have never heard of it. So he said, I want Ganjam to be on the IT roadmap. I said, it's not going to happen. Because if I have never heard of Ganjam, I don't expect anybody else to straight away come there, because you have to remember, it's an ecosystem effect. The ecosystem effect is your customer has to want to do business in that city. Number 2 is that you need to have flights to come into that city, because you can't suddenly say, I'll build a global business because of doing it. So I said the third thing only I can help you do it is bring in local language support from Ganjam, but that investment you have to do. I'll support you. And we ended up working with them and build BPO facilities out of Ganjam. So many of the things you all will have to do, but to suddenly say, I'm going to jump to moon, please take one step at a time.
I have to add to him what he said. There are tier 3 cities, as you call it them. They have come up. There is a 250 or 300 people facility somebody has created in Gondia, and they are supporting Amazon. Yeah? So that is happening. But yes, as he rightly said, somebody has to take initiative. It cannot happen out of hope.
To put it philosophically, charity begins at home, so everything starts from Nagpur. But to say it technically, the answers probably will be, the questions will be answered in a short while from now, because we have a panel discussion on strategies to propel Nagpur city as an IT hub. So probably most of your questions will be answered then. Just one more question before we move on to the panel discussion.
I think I'm a deep tech entrepreneur based in Pune. And what both CP sir and Harish sir said, based on that, I have a question for IM director, if it's okay. So I think the problem that the education system is not generating that talent which they are expecting has to do with the experienced industry people, great. They mentioned GCCs, people who have worked for global players. They cannot become professors after 20 years of experience. They don't have a PhD. They got a BTech from IIT. They are great people after 20 years, but they are not able to be hired as professors who will teach. That and how to address that is the question I'm.
So,
And I think CP sir can also react.
I think what you are saying, already Government of India, University Grant Commission, All India Council for Technical Education, our Ministry of Education has already drawn the notification. People, those who are working in industry for long, they can be a professor of practice. And in IIM Nagpur, a person who is heading the executive education, he was Siemens 20 years, L&T and Tata Motors 12 years, he has joined us as a professor of practice. He is heading our executive education. There are many examples already started. But I tell you, long back, even 2005, MDI Gurgaon, 25 people were professor of, in those days, term professor of practice was not there. They have been appointed as a professor. It has been the practice. It is already there. I think it is now because of notification, many more will come.
In lighter vein, NASSCOM started from my office in 1988. Every year I have heard this problem. And we have found a way to continuously solve and move forward. Like as we said, 5.3 million software, hardware, electronics engineers are employed by the IT industry alone. So it's a challenge we need to, as the professor said, look at the various ways of solving it.
I just have a quick question. Considering such an august audience here, and we have CP sir and everybody. So I just want to take a quick view from you that India has grown at a global level up to this particular level. So now from here, what next do you see in the next 10 years, 20 years? What do you think are the threats also coming to the India's IT story? And where do you see India going from here in terms of like GCCs having a success story and some few other stories which will start down the line?
CP is the right person to answer. I'll answer a little differently. As we all know that these different technologies from AI to you name it, the confluence of these technologies, the convergence of these technologies, I call it is a bottle lightning for India. It has the potential to solve any problem of India as such. It's our challenge to make this lightning work for us. And the talent that we see now, there is no reason why we will not do it. So I'm a techno-optimist. I have seen India, snake charmer's country, fakir's country, bankrupt on foreign exchange in 1991. And from there we emerged as a global tech powerhouse today. How did it happen? It was not by accident, not by luck. It was sheer hard work of 5.3 million engineers working day and night over the last so many years. So I see that trend continuing and will continue to harness technology to solve our problems.
I can only add that people like Harish Bhai, came back from US. That time, what you see today, on a business plan, you are able to get funding. People like Harish Bhai had to probably mortgage their wife's jewelry to get started. So I only want us to look back and say how far have we come and rejoice for a moment. Regarding future, I again strongly believe that different entrepreneurs will emerge. Harish Bhai of 35 years ago, a Narayan Murthy of maybe 40 years ago, and a Shiv Nadar of maybe 45 years ago. There are many more who are now coming in. When somebody says Oyo Agarwal, no, sorry, Ola Agarwal. Bhavish creates a unicorn in, just by redefining LLM. I mean, I can only say that that is the day I have an extra drink because I feel so good about the future. So my request is, there are opportunities. Just to give you an example, the other day I was sitting with a professor from Stanford, Professor Vivek Wadhwa. He said, you know what is the biggest strength of India? Is the data that India generates. 1.4 billion people generating all kinds of data. Can you think of, I mean, I'm sure all of you have seen the movie where the virus, vaccine was discovered in India and how Covaxin was actually between Dr. Krishna Ela and that NIV in Pune, how they developed it. The point I'm trying to make out here is there was constraints, but India developed a vaccine. So my belief is we are truly at the cusp of a very brilliant future, and as long as we remember technology is the glue, technology is the centerpiece, there are business problems. If we use technology to solve those business problems, we are definitely unbeatable.
True, sir. I'm sure there are many more questions, but we move on. Any questions can be addressed at the end of the session. And now moving on to the next very interesting session. As I said, the strategies to propel the city as the next IT hub. I would like to invite the moderator of this session, Mr. Ajay Kapoor. Mr. Kapoor is the president. Oh, sorry. I would request Mr. Ajay Kapoor to present a memento to both the convener and the co-convener, Mr. Vinod Tambi and Mr. Ajay Kapoor, to a token of appreciation to the stalwarts in the field here. So now I invite the moderator of this panel, Mr. Ajay Kapoor, who is the president and founder of Ascent Business Solutions. He is also the co-convener of this IT session today. He is a proud Nagpurian, a hardcore Nagpurian as he calls himself. He did his engineering from VNIT and had a brief corporate stint with Tatas and decided to pursue his MBA from the prestigious University of Wollongong, Australia. He's an entrepreneur at heart and established the Ascent in the year 1998 in Nagpur with half a dozen people. Ascent is a health tech organization with clients in almost 35 plus states in the US and has 3,000 plus resources across the globe with delivery locations in Nagpur and Hyderabad. Mr. Ajay and his co-founder and younger brother Rajat were passionately driven to create a global enterprise out of Nagpur and derive extreme pride that they have been at the forefront of the IT revolution in the city. An avid serial entrepreneur, he also has an agro business called NextGen Agro Ventures and has currently 300 acres of land under cultivation. NextGen Investments is a startup angel fund belonging to Kapoor family, and this company funds and incubates startups with, of course, a love affair for Nagpur-bred startups. So yes, we have several gems in the city of Nagpur. Probably it was just that they couldn't identify themselves as being from small town cities or three-tier cities. But now, with the infrastructure developing, we have all the gems shining bright here. And one such gem is Mr. Ajay Kapoor. Welcome, sir. Please take the stage.
Just say that given Bhimrao Mitra is already here, the other people, just ask everybody to sit down.
I ask everyone to settle down, and I would like to invite the panelists Dr. Bhim Rai Maitri, who is already here, the director of IIM Nagpur, the five-star panelists, as I might say, then Mr. Karthik Padmanabham from Zinovtech. I would also like to invite Mr. Mridul Chakrabarti, Director, Talent Supply Accenture, Mr. Arvind Kumar, the head of TCS Nagpur, and Mr. Viraj Voditel, founder and CEO of Techture. Extremely proud to have such a wonderful star-studded faculty with us today. The proceedings to Mr. Ajay Kapoor.
Thank you, Bindu, for your kind words. Good evening, everyone. I know we are running a little late on time and probably are 30 minutes over the time. We'll try to make up, but I'm sure everyone sitting here will enjoy the pedigree of the communication that comes in pearls of wisdom from all these luminaries. Warm round of applause for all of them, please. I'm sure in the last 1 hour, each one of you is as mesmerized as I have been hearing to, the value that CP Gadkari ji and of course Harish Mehta has given to all of us. Ladies and gentlemen, like I said, this is just the start. We have lots more to come. Unlocking Nagpur's potential, strategies to propel the city as the next IT hub. The theme has already been laid down. We've been talking about it for the last 1 week. We have been speaking about it for the last 2 days in different forums, and I'm sure that last 1 hour has created and raised a lot of questions for all of us to collectively ask and answer. We'll follow the unusual path where instead of panelists being introduced by the MOC, I will request each panelist to briefly introduce themselves to the audience in their turn and probably take no more than 2 to 3 minutes. It will be each one of you, except Karthik, has got, a strong Nagpur connect. And I think it would be appropriate if you can tell us about your journey, your current roles, and your Nagpur journey. To set the ball rolling, I think I'll start myself. We started Ascent in Nagpur way back in 1998. Frankly, every single person who knew us well questioned us, why Nagpur? Everybody pointed at that point of time that, since we were going into an IT setup, it would be appropriate if we went to Bangalore or if we went to Pune. NCR was just about beginning to come up at that point of time. And honestly, I didn't have an answer at that time in 1998 as to why Nagpur, except the fact that myself and my younger brother and co-founder, we were from Nagpur. We were sitting at Haldiram, eating, those lovely dosas that they always used to prepare. And we were intriguing ourselves deep into saying, there are lots of opportunities in the bigger towns. But we knew one thing, that, we really believed that if we could start from Nagpur and start well, we would be able to survive and grow. 25 years hence, having set our company from 3 people to now 3,000 plus people, it has been an overwhelmingly beautiful journey, and I'm glad we started in Nagpur. If I was to quickly set the tone for today's discussion, extreme abundance of quality manpower, unparalleled loyalty and willingness to stay long by the people, who were a part of the system, and I'm proud to say some of them have actually spent 2 decades with us now. To add to it, the cost benefits compared to the large towns like Bangalore and Hyderabad. And of course, Nagpur gave us the flexibility to experiment and, dare I say, fail. The luxury to get it wrong and yet not be ingested by the big sharks is something that I feel has served us very, very well over the last 2.5 decades. Of course, when we started, the infrastructure was dicey. We know, Nagpur has come miles ahead, probably is one of the best infrastructure towns, in the country. But at that point of time, even to get connected to the internet was a dial-up situation. Today, I think, it's all revolutionized. We are probably as good or maybe even better than the best as far as, the infrastructure is concerned. Scalability, safety, and security that comes with operating out of Nagpur, and we have a recipe which is as hit as our Sauji chicken in Nagpur. So ladies and gentlemen, I think, I set the pretext of what's good. I'll take the liberty, Karthik, since you are the one, who's traveled all the way from outside. Let me open up the stage for you. And if you could share, your journey, and if you could share, your wisdom with the audience.
Good evening, Ajay, and thank you so much for having me. Just so delighted to be here and talking to all of you. My name is Karthik Padmanabhan. I'm with a company called Zinov. I could not have asked for a better stage, really, to talk about GCCs. Because I think CPG spoke about GCCs. Everyone pretty much spoke about GCC. But I do remember, a few years ago, when I entered the world of GCCs and somebody told me about GCCs, I did not know what it was. I Googled it. The first thing that came up was Gulf Corporation Council, right? Or Gulf Council Corporation. And I am from Chennai, by the way. So I've hailed from Chennai, been a Madras boy for a long time. The next thing that I thought was Greater Chennai Corporation, right? And only then the GCC journey has actually started. For those of you who are still Googling about what GCC is, it does then stands for Global Capability Center. And a Global Capability Center is basically any company in the US who says that, hey, I have been outsourcing work to India for a long time. Let me start up my own center, right? That's what is a GCC. So their own center here. So there is a US office, there's an office in New York, there's an office in Dallas, there's an office, and now in Bangalore, or Hyderabad, and hopefully in Nagpur. Right? So their own center here, with their own culture, their own people, their own offices, their own space, their own everything, is what a GCC is all about. And the company that I work for, Zinov, is in the business of designing, building, operating, and transforming GCCs. So I'll just take, and Ajay has been kind enough to allow me more than those 3 or 4 minutes, and just talk a little about the GCC landscape before I pass the mic to my esteemed panel members out here. GCCs today are simply just mushrooming all over the place. Right? And I think C.P. Gurunanaji did speak about how fast it's growing. It's actually growing at an unprecedented pace right now. It's actually growing at a CAGR of 60% if you take the last 8 years. And that's simply crazy right now, right? So if you really look at how much it is, today we have 1,600 such centers in India, right? So 1,600 GCCs employing a talent and resources of close to 1.6 million people are actually working in such GCCs. And for majority of those companies, when a US company or a company in the UK wants to set up an office anywhere else outside their headquarters, the number one destination today is actually in India, right? So that's the speed at which it's growing. Right now, however, we should also say that the kind of work that was being done is tremendously shifting. If I really look back about 10 years ago, it was seen as a IT services insourcing place. As opposed to an IT outsourcing area, it was IT insourcing work that was being sent out. So typical classic kind of work that is actually getting developed. That then moved to saying, hey, how can I have teams that are co-located, cross-located across multiple locations? But today, if you look at it, to the answer somebody asked, to the question somebody said, why don't we have Microsoft and products like Microsoft and Google? Hey, by the way, they're all developed here, right? So Google has the largest GCC here. Microsoft has it here. Amazon has it here. Pretty much everything that you are seeing as global products are actually getting delivered here, are actually getting developed here. More, they are getting envisioned here, right? So the aspects of even not just product development, but product visioning, product strategy, product development, engineering, technology, research happens out of here. So if you look at the Venn diagram I have out there, you will have R&D work, you will actually have business process work, you will also have IT technology work, all getting delivered out of centers in India. What's more, most of these companies are not stopping with one center. They've actually now started to look at saying most of the companies have started to set up a second center and a third center, or sometimes more than 2 centers. And I'm still talking only about global capability centers. I'm not even talking IT services companies. I'm talking about multinationals who are sitting outside India and setting up the center over here. That is probably the biggest opportunity for a place like Nagpur, especially when companies are actually expanding, right? So when I really look at what do we need, and by the way, we heard the term tier 2, and somebody said tier 3 as well. We stopped saying that word, right? We don't call them tier 2, tier 3, whatever, right? The term that we used was emerging cities, and today I heard a better term, which was growth cities, right? That's probably what it is, or the kind of language we probably should say in terms of how we want to represent ourselves. There's no way in terms of some of the areas, Nagpur or other similar cities are probably at tier 1, right? Take attrition for an example, right? I'm sure we'll talk about attrition, but in terms of attrition, I think these cities are probably tier 1 compared to the rest of the term. But having said that, what is the criteria for an emerging city like Nagpur? That's probably what I put out there. We've actually done a study, taken 15 different cities, and hopefully we'll share that with you. But fundamentally, I'll stop with this slide very quickly. The first number 1, and probably 2, 3, 4, is talent availability, right? As long as we can have talent, as long as we are able to have skilled availability of workforce, the city can certainly develop. Cost arbitrage continues to be a big reason, right? When companies come into India, initially their mind is to say, how can I save dollars, right? That's probably what it is. And today, companies like, for example, or Bangalore or Hyderabad or companies in NCR or Bombay are getting higher and higher expensive. That amount of cost arbitrage that they used to get, they are not getting anymore. So they are actually looking for alternatives as to how can they get that same talent, but out of a city that can provide them better savings in terms of dollars, right? Ecosystem in terms of skills and academic development becomes a very vital factor. So the engineering colleges, technology colleges, if you look at, let's say, anywhere where we can get process colleges, people who understand core processes, technology and so on, becomes an area for growth, certainly. Government-led initiatives, probably we'll talk a little bit more about that, but how does the government really support that city to grow? Infrastructure, specifically with respect to connectivity and so on. The other point that somebody made was very, very vital. When they're looking at GCCs, they are not looking to create campuses. They're looking to hire people. And therefore, spaces for co-working spaces, etc., becomes very important. This morning, we were speaking to Mr. Atul from the Goel Ganga group, and we were talking about bringing, let's say, a WeWork or a SmartWorks into Nagpur, because that can fuel development of GCCs as well, right? And the ecosystem of companies like Persistent, HCL, Tech Mahindra, Accenture also becomes very vital, because the talent then has availability to move. Obviously, the ability to attract migrant talent becomes very critical. Maybe we'll definitely touch upon that in the panel today. And finally, when I look at an US multinational, they're still looking at stability, safety, and security, right? So, like for example, I had so many questions asked to me about the Chennai floods that happened, right? And that's something that kind of, I don't want to say it spooks companies, but it certainly puts a question mark to a degree, right? So those kind of things we are probably looking to see. If you have a stable infrastructure, security is not a concern, a stable ecosystem that can develop, that's also probably another area. So these are the main considerations, and we have actually done a study with respect to this, and we will share with you some other data. But I think I've taken far too long, Ajay. Thank you for allowing me to speak so long, but back to you.
Karthik, I had more time. Some of this information is so mesmerizing. And of course, new to a lot of audience. I mean, just to know, what GCC is and how it's going to shape up, the future of the Indian IT cities, it's very, very important that, audience understand that India, what IT was between 2000 and 2020, and what it will look between 2025 and 2035 would be, very, very different. Of course, we'll keep building on what we have done, but the emergence of GCCs is big for India.
Thank you. And I'm going to leave the slide here so that we can touch back on this whenever we get a chance to do so. But I'll hand it over.
Thank you. Dr. Maitre.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I think it would be very, very appropriate if you talk your journey and IM's journey and the influence that you are providing to this city.
Thank you, thank you. So myself, Dr. Bhimrai Maitri, I am from Jat, Sangli district, a small village, and first generation educator, son of farmer. So I worked almost about 20 years in Delhi, BITS Pilani, after my PhD at IIT Mumbai, and from there 1 year I worked in Satklad University, Glasgow. Then I moved after 25 years L&T Institute of Project Management a year, and then from there I was appointed as a director of IIM Tiruchirappalli. That was my first startup IIM from NIT to new campus. I built that one, positioned well. And before completion of my term, I was brought here to Nagpur to set up as a best institution like IIM Trichy. Now it is much, much better than Trichy. Is a world class. As our CP was telling, it is a world class infrastructure. Out of 21 IIM, Nagpur is the best today infrastructure. And also, IIM Nagpur in 8 years, it has positioned as one of the leading IIM, fastest growing IIM. Nagpur is also, according to Oxford Economic Survey, it is the fastest growing city. IIM Nagpur is also fastest growing IIM amongst the 21. And as far as IIM in our generation is concerned, we hired, that we adopted the strategy hiring very senior people and up to professor and associate professor and professor of practice, adjunct professor. So that is a model I adopted in Trichy as well as here. So that has given a better result to position IIM Nagpur. And we are the first one to start our cyber security program in the country. Till today, we are the first one year PG certificate with FedEx Institute of Technology. Copenhagen Business School, we are the first one to start the blockchain 1 year PG certificate program. And also we are the first one to serve the public biggest conglomerate, that is a Coal India Limited, that is a ESG management. So these are some of the things. And as far as my journey, I'm a civil engineer, but I never did any management course, but I'm heading the management institutions.
Thank you, Dr. Maitre. Arvind, your presence and what you have created over a short period of time has brought immense pride to Nagpur. If I may say so, you are actually now the flag bearer of the Nagpur IT industry. Friends, warm applause for Arvind and what they have been able to do at TCS. If you can, Arvind, tell us about your experiences. You have almost become a Nagpurian. I know how much pride and passion you have, but if you could share genuinely what is it that compelled you and TCS to look at Nagpur, and how has it fulfilled your objectives as an organization?
Yeah, thanks, Zem. I'm Arvind. I came to Nagpur in year 2014, and November 2014 to be precise. It's almost 8 years. And when I was about to come, I had a meeting with the then CEO of the TCS and had an options to go to Mumbai. But I refused. I said that Mumbai is a place to visit for a business transaction, but not to settle. And the next offer I got was, why don't you go to Nagpur? And what's there in Nagpur? Oh, we are building a good campus there, 53.5 acres. Now it is 105 acres, but at that point of a time, 53.5 acres. And he immediately accepted it. And he was surprised that, yes, do you have relatives in Nagpur? And he said, no. Have you visited Nagpur? And he said, no. Then why did you accept it? It's like a blank canvas. I will fill the colors the way I want. And I'm extremely pleased to say that that decision was extremely satisfactory. In fact, Mridul is sitting here. Today he is part of Accenture, but we started the journey of TCS together. And there are many milestones. When I look at Nagpur, because the first 1.5 months, I was operating from Lee Meridian and still looking for the residents in Nagpur. And I saw that there is no other city in India has so many attributes. I got introduced Nagpur as an orange city of India, geographical center of India, tiger capital of India, diamond crossings here in Nagpur, and it has the largest gold reserves in the city, RBI, right? And so many attributes. And then I also actually got introduced to Nagpur from the lens of a Tata employee, because Jamsetji, the very first Tata, started his journey literally after 2 years running the textile mill in Mumbai. 1871, he laid the foundation of one of the largest group in the world, right? With the help of the impress mill, right? So many attributes, so many emotions that is there. Today, TCS Nagpur, with all the blessings and all the support of all the ecosystem, today I can proudly say that TCS Nagpur is the largest employer as far as the Nagpur or Vidarbha region, or probably as a central India is concerned. So I can definitely go on and on, but I will just pass on to the others and they'll add on as a part of the panel discussion.
Thank you so much, Arvind. Mridul, you are Director for Talent at Accenture. And more or less now I know you are a Nagpurian too. Why don't you share your journey with us and let us know, how it all started, and what is it about Nagpur that has been intriguing for you to make a choice that you would like to work and settle and operate out of Nagpur?
Thank you so much, Ajay. Good evening, everyone. I hail from the northeast of the country. I'm from Assam. I've studied media with IIMC Delhi. Never been in any management course. So you're running a management institute. I'm running HR for an organization. I have not done an MBA, but I'm still running HR. I moved to Nagpur in 2013, in October 2013, slightly before Arvind did, to be part of the TCS Nagpur growth journey. And I was with TCS in Nagpur till about July 2020, which is when I moved on to my next opportunity, and I've taken over as the Director for Talent Supply for Accenture Operations across the southern part of the country. So I manage Chennai, Hyderabad, Bangalore, and Sri Lanka. So that's my portfolio right now. But having said that, my deep love for Nagpur can just be explained by the fact that I prefer to travel every weekend back to Nagpur, stay with my family, and travel back on a Sunday night again to Bangalore. I love the fact that I can travel to Bangalore in 1.5 hours, but the journey from the airport to my office takes about 3 hours, and in Nagpur it takes 7 minutes. And that's what I love about this place. It's been about close to 10 years now. What I love about this place is the people of this place, quaint little place. Very hospitable, nature of people. Slightly laid back, but that's okay because when you are hospitable, you are slightly laid back. Immense potential in terms of talent. And we'll talk about the kind of talent that we recruit from the central part of the country, and especially from Vidarbha, and how large organizations today form a central India strategy which revolves around Nagpur, which revolves around places like Indore, and how they are very fundamental to the workflow planning of any organization today in the IT industry. So that's what I do, and always now proud to call myself a proud Nagpurian. Thank you.
Wonderful, Mridul. Viraj, you are the youngest on the panel. probably the youngest startup amongst all of us. Let's see Nagpur from your lens.
Yeah, sure. So first of all, I am really privileged and humbled to be sharing the stage with stalwarts of the Nagpur's IT industry. So I'll talk about my journey first. So the year is 2013. I was still studying civil engineering while at BITS Pilani. And most of my peers were looking for jobs in the IT sector. So what I, fundamentally realized at that point in time was that, the information technology sector is not just for people with a computer science background, but it's affecting, each and every one of us in each of one of us, daily, day-to-day tasks. So I thought that why not we integrate information technology into civil engineering. So with that idea in mind is what my company TechChair started out with. In 2014, we started with a small office here in Dharampet in Nagpur. So I've been, I've grown up in Nagpur all my life. So that was a natural start for our company. And from 2014, we, three of us from BITS Pilani, all friends, that's how we started the company. And we have now grown it to a team of around 250 people in the last decade. So in the sessions earlier today, I was, hearing a lot about the startup ecosystem of Nagpur and Vidarbha and, what can be done, and there not being enough examples from this particular, geography. I think we try to be one of those companies. We operate in a sector which is a bit of a niche, which is the architecture, engineering, and construction domain. So to put it very simply, we help companies in construction implement technology. So we started out with services business. Most of our business today comes from North America. So I would say we are serving the global market from here in Nagpur. And most of our team consists of, engineers and architects from, in and around Vidarbha as well. Also, a couple of years ago, as the IT industry is moving to more and more product-led businesses, that's when we realized that we could also become an example of a product company. So we started a product arm and we developed project management, cloud-based project management software for this industry as well. So that's a little bit about what we are doing and my journey. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Viraj. Lovely to hear what you've been able to create in a short time. 25 minutes into the discussion and we haven't really started. I wish, the watch could stop right now because, I've been getting messages saying we only have another 25 minutes. Dr. Mehri, I think one of the big challenges and one of the big talk in the industry is how do you bridge the gap between the skill availability that is present there and what can the academy or institutions like IIM really do to create a workforce which is industry ready?
So thank you very much, Ajayji. I think education institution, typically higher education institution, they are gearing up today. Lifelong learning is the way of life, and also today, the world is a evolving world. It is continuously changing. It is a fluid world. So even though in IT sector also things are not remained constant 10 years back and today there is a total change. So lot of disruptions are happening. Digital twin has come, Chat GPT, Web3. So many such new things are emerging. So as a part of it, the IIM Nagpur or many such higher education institutions in the country, they are providing certificate program and training program for the industry so that they can remain relevant all the time. This is one. And one thing earlier concept was ability to develop expertise or building expertise. So that was applicable maybe 15, 20 years back. Today, it is the ability to not develop building expertise, but it is evolving expertise. So whatever the expertise you develop, that has a fixed life, skill has a shelf life. So the moment disruption happens, one has to move to the next one, they have to unlearn and new learn and skilling, reskilling. So that is where I am Nagpur started, today we have 25 variety of certificate program, whether it is in business analytics, data science, cyber security, or strategic management, or digital marketing, marketing analytics, operations management, project management, to name a few. So we all kinds of program we do, and large number of people within India and outside also participate. This is one part. Second one, our executive MBA program for Nagpur and Pune campus to cater the local needs. We started MBA program. First year, the courses are core courses, foundation courses. Second year, those who want to, we have many people from IT, so they specialize in the information system area, and we provide the courses, relevant courses in the emerging area they do, so that they can again remain relevant to the present world. Apart from this, I am Nagpur also entered the agreement with the Ministry of Skill and Entrepreneurship Development to basically train the fellows, 2-year fellowship program, Mahatma Gandhi fellowship program. It was a Sankalp project of World Bank. Maharashtra as well as Sikkim, these two states were given to IIM Nagpur. They identified 9 IIMs out of 21, and Nagpur is one among them. And we developed almost 40 fellows. Every district, Maharashtra 36, and every district of Sikkim 4. 40 fellows we developed in the skill area, so that they can also create a skill ecosystem in the entire district. They were working with the collectors, and just recently, 2 months back, they graduated as a fellows, and they are working, and some of them, 3 of them started their own initiative as a startup, and they are here, they are participating in Advantage Vidarbha. So this is another initiative. And the third one, along with the government of Maharashtra, we initiated Chief Minister Fellowship Program. So it is IIM Nagpur, government of Maharashtra, and also IIT Bombay. So we are basically the fellows whom you are preparing in public policy, and also using the modern technology, how to use the technology, how to bring the automation in government offices, whether it is a municipal corporation or revenue department or various departments of the ministries. So we are training that particular program is going on. And fourth one, you might have seen yesterday, Deputy Chief Minister Fadnavis ji announced, already it was announced in the month of August, that IIM Nagpur and Government of Maharashtra developing a center of excellence in AI. And it is going to come up very soon. We are going to open it in IIM Nagpur. So this AI is going to be the unique kind of R&D initiative. To begin with, it is going to start with one of the department of government, Ministry of Home, and then we are taking it to all departments, and probably this is going to be the first of its kind AI center. Maybe other states can replicate, and that is what the big vision we have. We have 2-3 meetings, and maybe next month probably we are going to come out with the opening of that center here. And the fifth initiative, we started a Section 8 company called IIM Nagpur Foundation for Entrepreneurship Development. So this is the initiative we started 2019, but after moving to the new campus, we really did women entrepreneurship program. They started many areas, including IT sector, and also we mentor the entrepreneurship, and Shashikant Chaudhary ji and many people, they are part of it. And along with that, we also taken Atal Innovation Center. Government of India, Niti Aayog has recognized us as a center of excellence, and they awarded National Atal Innovation Center highest funding of 10 crores. And also we received the Startup India Seed Fund. We also received entrepreneurship in residence, and government also gave fellowships, entrepreneurship fellowships. We are training the people, those who are going to start. So these are some of the initiatives basically to create a startup ecosystem in this region. And we also signed MOU few months back with Varda collector to create a ecosystem in Varda, and also we are going for other part of the Vidarbha. So these are the activities currently IIM Nagpur is doing. And along with this, we also signed MOU with the government of Maharashtra and Magnet project, Maharashtra Agri Business Network Society, it is called as a Magnet. So how to raise the bar for the farmers and how to provide the IT technical support to the farmers. We are also training technology partners, farmer producer organizations, and also farmers are trained to create awareness how they should get into technology so that they can raise the bar. These are some of the few initiatives. And other than this, as I told you, we are into big way short-term training and big way also large number of training. And also this year we started DGR, Director General Resettlement, the service people in armed force people, those who are going to retire and 6 months is left out, such people already they are here in IIM Nagpur. We are providing the education so that they can start their own initiative the day they retire after 6 months. They can get into new initiative, and we are providing many new generation IT and platform based courses. So these are some of the initiatives we have taken.
Thank you so much, sir. Looks like you are a mind reader, sir. Every time you spoke, I kept looking at my question and I said, wasn't I going to ask you about this? But thank you so much, for so elaborately explaining, the role of academia. Because I think one of the beautiful facets of an institution like IIM is just not about skill. It's about working with the policy makers and making an overall holistic change which will take us to the next league. So thank you so much for the answer, sir. Karthik, if I can jump to you right now. You spoke about GCC and the big wave in India. How ready do you think is Nagpur at this point of time? And if you can actually, compare and contrast it with, some of the things that you've been seeing in Karnataka or Tamil Nadu, where the GCC things have thrived hugely. And what will it take for Nagpur to get there?
Sure. Before I go into that question, thank you for saying AI, generative AI. Typically we say, in any conversation, no matter what the conversation is about, it'll be about 7 to 8 minutes before we talk about generative AI, right? This time we took 25 minutes, but that's another metric to improve, right? If you really look at it. No, so let's take a look at who's Nagpur competing against, right? So we did put a emerging landscape, too many slides out there, but we actually took 15 different cities, right? And we really looked at saying that, okay, when you look at an emerging city landscape, where does Nagpur actually fit in, and what are the other cities out there, right? And what we're talking about. So clearly today, if I look at it from, and this is not just with GCCs, right? We are looking at it from a pure landscape of IT, services, technology, infrastructure, stability, all of the various parameters that we spoke about previously. Where does Nagpur really land, right? And what are the other cities and what are they doing well, right? So right now, if you look at overall, I think cities like Ahmedabad, Coimbatore, Chandigarh, they have kind of sort of in the last 5-6 years started to really up their ante with respect to some of their work that they're doing. That could be government policies, that could be infrastructure, that is stability, there is talent availability, there is education availability, and so on. So if you really look at it, aspects of things like, let's say, Ahmedabad, Coimbatore and Chandigarh are probably up ahead. And then we have also the remaining folks, right? The folks like, let's say, Jaipur, for example, who's really picking up steam with respect to what they are doing. We have elements of, let's say, what Indore is doing, for example, not so far from where you are. Visakhapatnam is another area. I think, for example, one of the recent GCCs moved to Visakhapatnam completely, lock, stock and barrel, shifted and moved to Visakhapatnam. The gift city in Gujarat, for example, there are a number of GCCs who opened up shop over there, especially the second GCC or the third GCC got opened up over there. Specifically with respect to Nagpur, if I have to double down, I think you have a lot of things positively going for you, but the one thing that is probably not going for you as much is one of perception as well, right? When we really look at what are the areas that from a Nagpur, if I have to summarize, the city attractiveness, if you really look at it, right? And we were talking this morning over breakfast, it's not blipping. People are not talking about Nagpur as much, right? And the reason for that could be one of perception. The reason it could be one of, as a city, how do you make it more attractive? How do you sell the story to other people is probably one thing that you can really look to see. How do we tap into the network, right? A lot of people talk about talent coming back to Nagpur, which I think is something that you definitely have to look at. but there is a lot of Nagpurians who are out there, right? A lot of people who are actually in the US, for example, in decision-making capacities, working out there, but how do you then influence them to make sure that you're bringing Nagpur as a place where they can start looking to invest, for example, right? But I think talent availability, you're still number 6, which is probably the biggest thing. Talent availability is very, very big. Cost index is pretty good, right? So talent, cost index, ease of operations, in all of them, you're within the top 10, right? It's probably the aspects of city attractiveness and therefore migratability that you can potentially do better. And then for that, I think part of what you have to do is tap into network, sell the story better, talk about, let's say, getting people back into Nagpur, helping them to sell the story probably are areas that we can look at, Ajay.
Thank you so much, Karthik. Really appreciate. I'll come back to you around the policies and talk to you around that, in the other question. But I'll probably take this question to Arvind. Arvind, what do you specifically see as challenges and opportunities for TCS currently to, grow bigger? And would you be able to, contrast TCS's presence in Nagpur vis-a-vis, some of the bigger established TCS centers in terms of matrices, and reassess, whether Nagpur really has the potential to be able to deliver to, the GCC or the corporate world expectations in IT?
Yeah, thanks. Good question, Ajay. When I look at the TCS Nagpur journey, and one of the philosophy that we took and that we usually take when we become a part of a particular entity, both the pain and as well as the strength of that entity is a part of us. And so when we started looking at the talent landscape, we believe that it is not just important to see what talents, ready-made talents that is available as an experienced professionals that we call in the IT industry that is there for us to tap. It is important for us to build a talent. And that's when I came in November 2014, in December 2014, I had a meeting with the directors and the principals of all the engineering colleges of Nagpur in TCS Mihan campus, and with an intent that how can we build talent together. And let me just tell you, the ecosystem, the academic ecosystem of the Nagpur reciprocated it very well, very well. And to my surprise, they were ready to bring certain policy changes, and it was not so easy. Like, for example, when we talk about a talent building, accelerating it, left shifting, then in that case, the students has to show in the corporate culture. The student has to show in the talent that we in industry talk about, and it is not just C, C++, Java, right? The IT industry is not just about that, right? The talent that they have to absorb in terms of the soft skills, extremely important. So I proposed to those directors and the principal that can be moved from the 6 weeks of an internship, which is typically there in the engineering colleges, and the rest of the India, can be moved from the 6 weeks or 8 weeks of an internship to 6 months of an internship, right? Participating together so that the students become a part of us. They soak in whatever that we offer to our associates and as well as to the customers. And then after 6 months, when they are stepping out of that particular internship, they are most sought after in TCS and as well as beyond that. And that's how we built a lot of niche skills. In fact, let me just tell you, last year in TCS Nagpur, there were 393 engineers interning with us on the niche skills of whether it is a web responsive technology, which we talk about in terms of Angular and React, and or for example, we talk about an SAP's or we talk about a Salesforce or cyber security and all of those. 393 engineers. And then we also experimented the same thing with the MBA grads. Because if you look at any of the ERP, there is also a concept of a functional expertise, right? Functional expertise on the finance, to human capital management, to operations, to analytics, and all of those. And we said that we, as an industry, always talk about inexperienced professionals, which unless and until they have become 10 years or 7 years, they cannot actually be branded as a functional expertise. And we said that the MBA finance, they come with those finance experience if they get exposed to SAP FICO, or if, for example, MBA HCM, if they get exposed to SAP Success Factor, right? Then in that case, what's the best combination? And we had 115, within the 2 years, 115 MBA grads. And they are all loved by the TCS managers because they have to be loved by us first. And then actually they will definitely get loved by the customer, okay? So we took that particular philosophy in TCS Nagpur that yes, we are going to walk together to build the talents. Definitely rest of the formula of the experienced professionals and all of those. So if you look at today in Nagpur, if we have 50,000 engineers who may be operating in the IT landscape, but I always say that it is not just 50,000. It is multiplied by 5 times. They are operating out of Pune or the other cities. And if we provide them the right ingredients and right attractiveness in this particular city, they would be all willing to come back and be a part of us. So our talent landscape in terms of a search is not just only within Nagpur.
Arvind,
Okay?
can you bell the cat here? I mean, we all talk about this and we've been talking about it for, several years. We know that, the Nagpur IT population is well in excess of 500,000, spread across the country. What is it that needs to be done? How do you get it back? Of course, I'd like to hear your opinion, and I'm going to take this question straight to you as well, Mridul, because you function here. Why is it that people are not willing to travel here, or what is the age group of the people who are willing to travel back? What is that attractiveness which is missing?
Again, it's a complex question. It's a complex question, but I would say that it's a group dynamics, right? The very first few years when I look into TCS and the way actually we were able to attract talent, people were apprehensive. Am I going to get what I am getting in Pune or Hyderabad or Bangalore, right? So we had to address that particular question. But once they started seeing that the kind of an opportunity that TCS Nagpur has to provide is similar as what any other city, people started coming and moving to the Nagpur. That's one part of it. Second is that once TCS established in Nagpur, 1,000, 2,000, then our colleagues and the friends, the HCL, to Infosys, to Tech Mahindra, they also started here in Nagpur. So it's together, it's a group effort. And when this starts happening, more and more talents actually starts coming to the city. The second question is, the third question is that, as probably Karthik mentioned, it is not just important to satisfy as an individual need, whether my spouse is also going to get a job in this particular city as well. So then if the IT landscape of the city improves, then in that case you start addressing that. I'm pretty sure between Mihan itself, there will be many spouses working in various companies, okay, today. So that's an advantage that today that Nagpur has, okay. So these are some of the things that is there. I'm pretty sure as the year progresses, as the overall, in fact, yesterday I was looking into, there are 135 IT companies that operate from Nagpur, right? The small to mid to large and all of those. Amongst the top 5 largest IT companies, I'm talking about which has a headquarter in India, the top 4 has more than 100 acres of campus in Nagpur, right? Except for Wipro. We, TCS, HCL, Infosys, Tech Mahindra, four of us are here. And then Mridul is here, Accenture with approximately 300 to 500 associates. They are already here. Then we have Persistent and Global Logic. So there are companies. Let's be proud of what we have. What we need to do is that just like when you walk out of airport, Bangalore airport or Pune airport or Hyderabad airport or Chennai airport, you see all the logos, right? Accenture, Cognizant, Capgemini, HCL, TCS, bright lights, all of those are there. Here in Nagpur, most of us are in Mihan, where those logos are not visible from Vardha Road. Probably we need to address that. The logos of TCS to HCL to Infosys to Tech Mahindra to Persistent to Global Logic to Infosys all need to be visible in that Vardha Road artery. Because seeing is believing, right? Many of the TCSers, TCS is a large 6 lakhs employee base, right? Even for the TCSers, they would not know what TCS Nagpur is doing, right? It is similar to what we do in any other centers, right? But they do not know. And because when they are coming to the city, they are not seeing all those companies which is operating here. Probably as an association, as a city, as the administrator of this particular city, we have to make all these logos visible, right? Perception, extremely important. Right? Perception, right perception is extremely important. Okay? So I can add more points, but I'll request Mridul to add to it.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Arvind.
Mridul, while you carry this forward, I would also like you to address, the workforce capability index that you must have looked at. And what is it that, you really felt while coming to Nagpur and looking at Nagpur as, the skills that were ready for IT?
Okay. I'll answer your question in two parts, right? The first question was, what segment of the talent population can be attracted to Nagpur or is attracted to Nagpur, and why are others not attracted to Nagpur? The answer is in this room. Just have a look at this room. And if you were to divide or segmentize this room, how many people in the age group of 18 to 25 are in this room? Most of the people who are holding the baton of IT resurgence in Nagpur are above 35. If an idiot like Ori can go and become an internet sensation, right? And I agree to what Arvind said. There isn't enough marketing of the capability that we have in Nagpur. We don't. Nobody talks about it. I'll give you a very subtle but a very strong example, right? I happen to also manage the pharma hiring globally for Accenture. Now, in a very internal discussion, we were doing the workforce planning for pharma hiring, right? And pharmacovigilance is a very large sector that we hire for. And in my plan, I had close to about 22% of the hiring to be done out of this region, right? Amravati has a large pool of pharmacy graduates that we hire. Nobody knows about it, right? My pharma head of India asks me, believe you me, my pharma head of has done his engineering from VNIT Nagpur. He asked me, are you sure? Ho jayega? That's the problem, Ajay. Yeah. Nobody's talking about it, right? I mean, it's not just 4 or 5 people who can hold the baton and really talk about it all the time. I was talking to Sailesh the other day, in the afternoon, and I think I was speaking to you also, Ajay, the other day. When we pitch Nagpur to international customers, it's not really very difficult, right? You can talk about the talent availability, you can talk about the safety security of this place, you can talk about the fact that if Nagpur is the Fort Knox of India and can hold the gold bullion, it's the safest place. And just to give you an example, right? I was in TCS then. In 2015, the great Chennai flood prompted a large part of Morgan Stanley business from Chennai to move to Nagpur. It is a zero seismic area. There are no earthquakes which happen. Floods do not happen here. This is the most stable place. But who talks about it? Nobody talks about it. If you talk about the talent index is defined by 2 or 3 parameters, Ajay. One of it is employability for sure, right? And there are many organizations today who are working towards skill development, right? The Kaushal Bharat initiative has a lot of pockets where it has outreaches that organizations can benefit from. But we don't believe in a government-led initiative anymore. We think government ne kiya hoga to zarur ko jhol hoga. We don't want to do that. I mean, so employability is a problem that we face. 2 is perception, and I rank perception as the top of all the problems that we have today when we're selling talent as a commodity or as a service to our customers today, right? The same person, if you have done your engineering list from a VNIT or from a Ramdev Baba or from Priyadarshini College, right? You've done your engineering here. You want to do your internship or the first 3 years of your work in Pune. Why? Because then you get labeled as a person who has worked in the global market, right? Or you know how the global customers work. That's one. I talked about in a very jocular manner about the workforce being laid back. It is for the workforce to also understand. The same workforce, when it moves out of Nagpur and goes to a Pune or a Bangalore, puts in more effort.
In traveling or work?
No, in work. Traveling, of course, yes. In work. But when it comes to Nagpur,
That's a very interesting perspective.
things take a back seat. मैं अपने घर में हूँ, let me relax. You know, people mocked Mr. Murthy when he said, India is growing, you need to work for 70 hours. I tend to somewhat agree to what he says. You want to really talk about Nagpur grow as an IT destination, you've got to get your backside off work. You know, you can't be the easygoing, relaxed populace, okay, chalta hai, you know, with the Padwa mentality, you know, that aaj holiday hai, kal Padwa hai. That does not work in the workspace today, right? So I think there are multiple things, Ajay, which are there. Primary is how we market Nagpur. That's most important to my mind.
If you don't mind, just to
No, please go
add
ahead.
one small point, right? I do have a slightly contrarian opinion that I do feel that the talent in a particular city, only a small percentage comes from the city. A lot of the talent should come from elsewhere into the city, right? Because if you're relying completely on organic talent to develop, it will be slow. So one thing is to develop organic talent, but how are you able to attract talent? You look at something like a Bangalore, Pune, Hyderabad, for example, a lot of the talent there are actually not from that city themselves. They are actually coming into the city. So how do you then make the city attractive for people to come in, to move homes, to bring their wife and kids, to come and then set up a new house over here? How do they, or people like, for example, both of us, right, work here, but families are somewhere else, right? Like, for example, I work in Bangalore, but my family is in Chennai and I travel every week, right? But is that possible to do that from a Nagpur point of view? Possibly, yes, right? Yeah, maybe, right?
No,
But
I agree with you. I agree with Karthik completely, right? I mean, when we were doing these academic interface programs, Arvind, you're part of them, right, in TCS and after that as well. You go to the hinterlands, right? And you go into Akola, let's say, you go to Yavatmal, right? And you get somebody from there to come to Nagpur, right? What is the acceptability of that person there who's come here to work? The social acceptability. Is he going to get a good accommodation here? Is he going to be welcomed here? You know, that's a very, very significant part of how you build the ecosystem of the place. And I think that's a brilliant point you picked up, Karthik. Yeah.
Thank you. You know, that's the challenge that I think a lot of us have faced. There is abundance of manpower. We all agree to it. There's lovely skill available. Do we have the ability to be able to, you know, relocate the mid and senior level management in Nagpur And I think, it's changing. It's changing dramatically now because of connectivities, road networks, also, all the marketings that are beginning to happen. And you can see, by the way, how strategic Nagpur is. We get all of you here, we talk all the good things, and we let Zinov go out and, tell the whole world we're beautiful. Because that's how, we are going to get people into the system. So you need to understand, and that's my convener's brain. He tells me, raise difficult questions, let them all debate, and then Zinov goes out and says, Nagpur is like a hidden pearl. That's brilliant. All right, my convener and my boss also tells me that, I have exceeded a lot of time, but I'm probably going to take that question to you, Viraj, right now. You started primarily as a tech-led services company and have graduated into being a product company. How easy or difficult have you found the ecosystem, and what contrasts were you required to when you were doing these two things?
Yeah, thanks for that question. So just to add to the point that Karthik just mentioned about attracting talent into Nagpur, similar to how cities like Pune, Bangalore have done, I found that the bigger challenge which a city like Nagpur has is to not lose the talent to these cities. So most of the recruits that we did initially, so they were of the age group just fresh out of college or just with a little bit of experience. So they tended to be in Nagpur for a while, but then most of them thought that they're missing out on probably a better lifestyle or more exposure in some of the companies in these cities, and then they moved out. Again, circling back to the point that everyone made about perception, I think it all boils down to that at the end of the day. So now coming to your question about services and then product. So the Indian IT industry has been primarily known for its services exports globally, and we do get a lot of such questions that why don't we see another Google or Microsoft coming up from a country like India. I think it's high time that people have started asking those questions, and as we are moving into more and more technologies that look at automation, artificial intelligence, I think we do have a huge potential of creating the next big product company, even from Nagpur for that matter. So, and if we look at the industry landscape, I think every few years there's like a reset button that gets hit. We see emergence of a lot of new big giants. We saw that from the dot-com era, and then the decade of 2000s, there was a new crop of companies. And now again, we have a set of companies like OpenAI, for example, that is questioning the status quo. So most of these transformations have been led through product. Those products, have adopted different technologies of their times. I believe now it's the right time for India to step up in the product journey. So that's the thesis that we started with, because we realized that there's a big gap in the Indian market when it comes to products, especially in the niche that we operate in, which is engineering and construction. Most clients that we talk to in India, they are using American products and they are tailoring them to how this industry works here, which is quite a significant departure from how it's there in most of the developed world. So with that mindset, I think there's a lot of opportunity to solve for India when it comes to product. And there are so many good examples. The finance sector, for example, UPI is a global story, and that's like fundamentally it's a product, I would say, that's come out of India. So there are a lot of such opportunities in a lot of different verticals, and we are just waiting to grab them.
Thank you, Viraj. Lovely. I'm not going to ask any more questions. I'm going to, give it straight to Dr. Maitri. He's going to, conclude with his concluding remarks on whatever he wishes to say.
Thank you very much. So the discussion going on attracting the talent, I just give one example. When I moved to IIM Trichy to Nagpur, along with me, 7 people joined me. Senior professor who was heading executive education, heading MBA program, heading PhD program, all those, the leaders, they joined with me. And I also attracted from NITI Mumbai, IIM Indore, XLRI. What I want to say is a leader can make a difference, and leader gives the vision. I think all other things will be secondary. Vision is important, and if you look at Hyderabad, few decades back, nobody thought Hyderabad is going to be a global IT city. Why it became? Because there was a vision, and even Bangalore, Mohandas Pai and 25 people, there is a group. How to take Bangalore to the next orbit. There is a team, they work for that. I think we need to have a vision, and we should showcase the vision to the people. I think all other things will be secondary. And if you talk about, any faculty joining, I talked to DPS school headmistress Yadav. Any time my faculty joins from anywhere, whether it is a May or October, November, you should admit, we have made an agreement when I joined VNIT, came from Trichy. So any faculty comes, there is no admission problem. School admission is most important. And whenever my faculty comes, I talk to, Ramdev Baba, Priyadarshini, their spouse should get a job there. So these are the things as a leader, if you do, I think irrespective of Mumbai, and even I attracted a person from Mumbai, he is now here, his family was resisting, and after 6 months, finally they convinced they are happy. So these things happens, but if you show the vision for long term, because I told Trichy people, I am going to take executive education much, much higher than I am Trichy. If you join, I tell you, there was a 6 crore, now we are out of 21 IIM, there are 15, before 2000 there were 6 IIM. Out of 15 IIMs, including NITI Mumbai, we are number 1 in executive education. We generated the money, and people double their salary. Their salary is more than 2.5 times they make, even though it is a just 8-year-old new. I think this kind of vision issue and some financial value comes. People compromise everything, they come. This is what I want to say.
Thank you
very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Maitri. Arvind, last comments from you, something that I might not have asked or skipped.
See, the potential is huge as far as this city is concerned. And we have set our goals. I'm pretty sure together all the companies, all the organizations, and together with an academic ecosystem in the Nagpur, we have a huge potential to take it to the 10x. I would not like to talk in 2x and 3x, okay, 10x. And not only in terms of a headcount, right? So headcount probably may become very irrelevant as we move forward. In terms of the innovation, in terms of the products that is going to come out of this particular city, in terms of the solutions and the kind of services that we extend together with the product and the solutions, I think that is going to differentiate this particular city from the rest.
Thank you so much, Arvind. Mridul, last comments from you.
I think I agree with Arvind when he says that there's a lot of potential, right? And potential is always there, right? And this place has a lot of potential. Historically, it has a lot of relevance, right? As the seat of political power of CP and Berar states, from that stage to the entire political movement that this state has seen, this area has seen, right? To the next level of industrial revolution, with Empress Mill starting off as from the industrialization phase, to the institutions like VNIT, which have been the seat of imparting excellent education. I think there are loads and loads of leaders in the country today who have studied from VNIT, and I know of many people who have studied from VNIT. I think one of the things that we as a group need to do is find out people who have been in Nagpur, who have studied in Nagpur, who are now in different parts of the country, right? And part of different organizations, different institutions. Rope them in, talk about what we are doing. It is very, very important that people talk about what we have been able to achieve here, right? I mean, what Viraj's organization has been able to achieve here is phenomenal. We need to talk about it. We need to tell people what's happening here in Nagpur. I think that's going to be the next step for, to my mind. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And you know, Karthik, why we left the last statement from you. You started, you have now heard everyone. Just as Mr. Gadkari was leaving, he asked me to ensure that before you leave, you commit how many GCs you are getting here.
Fantastic to put the spotlight over here. But absolutely, I'm from a point of view of more than happy to spread the word to the world about who you are, what you are. I think my eyes have been opened, and I think it's our collective responsibility, including myself, to open the eyes for the rest of the world as well, to say, come here and enjoy not just the hospitality, but the talent and skill that we have out here. So more than happy to do so, and thank you again.
Thank you so much. Can I now request my convener to please step up and just offer a little bit of gratitude to all these luminaries here. Come, Samir. And my convener. If you can step up and give a gratitude to our convener. It happens all because of him.
Also, I think it is the most good session because we are the only last one. Thank you.
And convener, if you can take one and gift it to me.
That's good.
Of course I deserve it.
So while the convener and the co-conveners on stage, I'm going to just take a moment to thank all the panelists for coming here. Karthik, thank you for agreeing to come here at a short notice. I gave a call to Pari and he said, I'm in the US, but I'll have Karthik or somebody from my team come over. Thank you. Mrudul, again, last minute we made that day when we were sitting at Ajay's place. Arvind called you and you agreed. Thank you for coming. And Viraj, of course, you are the future and we are looking for you to really have a product for... And last but not the least, I think the people here, because I hope we are all inspired by what's happening here and we can really make an IT and put Persistent and Nagpur completely on the IT map here. So thank you everyone. Thank you. Yes, and it would be wrong if I don't thank AID, and that is Ashish Kale and Vijay Sharma for really putting up this whole event, Advantage Vidarbha. Without that, it would have happened. So thank you to them. And of course, thank you to my the conveners and the co-conveners for putting it together. Thank you, each one of you, and the team which has come together here. Thank you.
And a round of applause to the man who stays behind and does all the hard work.
Thank you everyone.
Yep. We are the beautiful faces of IT.